As student athletes at the University of North Alabama, you've helped build a pride and tradition that has helped rank UNA among the elite programs in the history of both the Gulf South Conference and Division II. And as we prepare to embark on a new chapter as an NCAA Division I institution, we need to take a look back to where our program began, to appreciate how far we've come, and to realize the incredible opportunities that lie ahead. UNA's athletic tradition dates all the way back to 1912, when the Lions fielded their first football team under the banner of State Normal College. Football was dropped in 1928, but the athletic program had a rebirth in the early 1930s when Eddie Flowers coached the school's first baseball, men's basketball, and tennis teams under Florence State Teachers College. Football returned in 1949, followed later by golf, cross country, and women's sports beginning in 1969. From those beginnings, generations of Lions student athletes have helped forge a tradition that includes 69 conference championships, 125 earned NCAA tournament appearances, 30 NCAA regional championships, and 7 national championships. Those titles were earned by thousands of student athletes, staff members, and coaches. UNA began to roar in the 1970s when the Lions became charter members of both the Gulf South Conference and the NCAA Division II. Men's basketball led the way in the 70s, going to the Final Four 3 times in a 4-year span and becoming the first men's basketball team from the state of Alabama to win a national championship in 1979. Basketball continued to roll in the 1980s with 4 more NCAA tournament appearances, and the Lions won their first football and baseball championships in the GSC. On the women's side, the Lions dominated the league's women's championships with 13 titles in 5 sports, bringing home 5 GSC All-Sports trophies. The 1990s began with a second men's basketball national championship in 1991, and the football program set its own standards, becoming the first program in the history of NCAA scholarship football to win 3 straight national championships in 1993, 1994, and 1995, as well as becoming the first football program on any level to win as many as 40 games in just 3 seasons. With those kinds of record-breaking performances, it's no wonder that the 1995 Lions became the first Division II program in any sport to be invited to visit the White House. Add to that 6 trips to the NCAA baseball tournament in the 90s and the start of a string of 7 straight GSC volleyball crowns as the Lions' roar became deafening. In the 2000s, both men's and women's tennis were regulars in the NCAA tournament. UNA produced a 3-time All-American in women's cross country, and volleyball won the school's first national championship in a women's sport in 2003. On the men's side, football and golf were annual participants in the NCAA postseason, and that continued into the current decade. The school's 7th national championship came in 2016 from the softball team, while football won an unprecedented 4 straight GSC championships to push its total to 13 all-time. Soccer won its first 2 GSC titles, with volleyball pushing its record total of GSC championships to 18. Along the way, great individual performances resulted in team success, and the list of individual awards earned by UNA Lions is staggering. The roster of UNA athletic alumni includes an NFL Rookie of the Year and MVP, 5 players who have competed in the Super Bowl, an NBA draft pick, and 2 former baseball players who have competed against each other in the World Series. The National Player of the Year awards in Division II football and baseball are named for former Lions, and UNA has produced a National Player of the Year in 4 different sports. The academic awards are just as plentiful, with 10 Lions earning All-American and Academic All-America honors, 13 GSC Commissioner's Trophy recipients, and the only inductee from the state of Alabama or the GSC in the Academic All-America Hall of Fame. To our current athletes, this is the fiber and foundation of our athletic tradition. For you, the time is now. This is for the Shoals. This is for the state of Alabama. This is for anyone who has ever worn the purple and gold. It's time for us to rise and roar.